Hi, everyone. Welcome to Naturally Immune for Life. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you so much for your time. Sorry I was not here last week. I was taking my daughter back to school. Happy to say she's back, beginning her classes, and everything is going well so far. So I promised I would be starting a series on vitamin deficiencies. And one of the first I am tackling is one of the ones that you desperately need. You have to get it from a healthy gut and you have to get it from food sources. Otherwise, you can end up with some very dire health consequences due to the lack of this vitamin, and that vitamin is vitamin B12. So, this is a new category, new menu item. So if you want to know general information about vitamin deficiencies and who might be most effective and how to increase vitamins naturally, because I'm going to tell you that I have never noticed any effect from a synthetic vitamin B12. Um, Possibly if you got injections, you might notice a difference, and some people do. Some people have to resort to that, but I have never noticed any effect from a synthetic vitamin B12. So increase B vitamin, well, wait a minute. Nutrition for life, B12 deficiency. B12 is crucial for neurodevelopment and neurohealth. It is also closely associated with SIBO due to its ability to mitigate the effects of H2S, hydrogen sulfide. B12 is also crucial for parasitic pathogen control and energy. B12 is an essential vitamin. It is found naturally in animal products, is an additive in certain foods, and available as an oral supplement or injection. Vitamin B12 supports the normal function of your nerve cells and is needed for red blood cell formation and DNA synthesis. The benefits of B12 are that it prevents anemia. Vitamin B12 plays a vital role in helping your body produce red blood cells. Low B12 prevents them from developing properly. Healthy red blood cells are small and round, whereas they become larger and typically oval in cases of B12 deficiency. Folic acid, also called folate, is another B vitamin. B12 and folate are associated. Anemia is caused by a lack of vitamin B12 or a lack of folate, are two types of megaloblastic anemia. Another type of B12 deficiency anemia is called pernicious anemia. This vitamin B12 deficiency anemia is more common in people whose families come from Northern Europe, and that would be me. It is caused by one of the following: lack of intrinsic factors. It's caused by one of the following: lack of intrinsic factor. Intrinsic factor is a protein made in the stomach. It is needed to absorb vitamin B12. Vitamin B12 prevents birth defects. It supports bone health. It reduces macular degeneration. It improves mood and prevents depression. It prevents neuron loss. It increases energy. It prevents heart disease and it supports healthy hair, skin, and nails. Who is at risk of B12 deficiency? It is estimated that at least 6% of people aged 60 or older have vitamin B12 deficiency, while about 20% have low to normal or borderline deficient levels. Older adults are susceptible. People with gastrointestinal disorders such as Crohn's, celiac, or SIBO. Those who have had gastrointestinal surgeries such as bariatric surgery or bowel resection surgery. People on a strict vegan diet, those who take metformin for blood sugar control, those taking proton pump inhibitors for chronic heartburn. In many older adults, the secretion of hydrochloric acid in the stomach is reduced, causing the reduction in the absorption of B12. Extreme dieters, even though some plant-based milks or grains may have been fortified with B12, vegan diets are often limited in this vitamin, putting people at risk of deficiency. So one of their natural sources is nutritional yeasts. Who is at risk, which is actually pretty good, but it's also pretty expensive. Who is at risk for B12 deficiency anemia? Risk factors for vitamin B12 deficiency include a family history of the disease, having part or all of your stomach or intestine removed, autoimmune diseases including type 1 diabetes, Crohn's, HIV, some medicines. The symptoms of B12 deficiency are weak muscles, numb or tingling feeling in hands and feet, trouble walking, nausea, decreased appetite, weight loss, irritability, lack of energy or tiring easily, fatigue, diarrhea, smooth and tender tongue, fast heart rate, and the symptoms of megaloblastic anemia may look like other blood conditions or health problems. Vitamin B12 is an indispensable micronutrient required for neurological integrity, hematopoiesis, and cellular metabolism. Because endogenous synthesis does not occur in humans, adequate intake through dietary sources or supplementation is essential. Deficiency, if unrecognized or untreated, may progress to irreversible neurological impairment, megaloblastic anemia, and increased morbidity. Populations with gastrointestinal disorders, restrictive diets, or advanced age are particularly vulnerable and warrant proactive monitoring. Ensuring sufficient B12 status through prevention, early detection, and appropriate therapeutic intervention is therefore critical for maintaining long-term health and physiological stability. So there are some couple of excellent sources about B12 absorption and acquired and inherited disorders, in general B12 deficiency. So you can increase B vitamins naturally by increasing lactobacillus and bifido. They provide an effective way to increase vitamin levels in milk. Some bacterial strains in the genre Lactobacillus and bifido provide an additional source of B vitamins: thiamine, riboflavin, cobalamin, folate, and biotin during dairy fermentation. Folate deficiency is linked to neural tube defects, some cancers, poor cognitive performance, and heart disease. Instead of synthetic folate, foods can be naturally fortified with folate synthesized by lactic acid bacteria and bifidobacteria. Streptococcus thermophilus and Elbergericus are suitable for yogurt naturally enriched in this vitamin. High folate concentration can be reached in yogurt as a result of the ability of S. thermophilus to produce this vitamin. Vitamin B12 deficiency is common, particularly in vegetarians. Animals, plants, and fungi cannot produce B12. It is exclusively produced by microorganisms. Cobalamin can be synthesized by bacteria such as L. reuteri, Propionibacterium, Freudenreiche, and B. Anemias B12. I know I didn't pronounce that right. So a little more info you might find interesting. In the history of SIBO, serum levels of folate and B12 were used to support evidence of bacterial overgrowth in pediatric settings. This ratio was one of the first testing methods used to diagnose SIBO. That was a long time ago. But due to the difficulty in diagnosing SIBO, emerging molecular techniques in bacterial fingerprinting may offer a more reliable way to define microbial populations in intestinal samples. And you may or may not know the cause of SIBO has been found to be E. coli and another associated bacteria. I can't exactly remember what that is, but I'm sure I'll be writing about that in the future if I haven't added it to this site already. So SIBO can cause severe malabsorption, serious malnutrition, and deficiency syndromes. So more info on H2S. Here is a couple of sources indicating that hydroxycobalamin therapy for acute hydrogen sulfide poisoning. It was an antidote that they tried, I believe, first in sheep, and then I believe they tried it later in humans. Yeah. Human case report with pre and post-treatment sulfide. Supports H2S binding by hydroxycobalamin. So another interesting note, the popular alternative drug fenbendazole was discovered during research on vitamin B12. The benzimidazole nucleus was found to be a stable platform on which drugs could be developed. Fenbendazole was developed as a veterinary antihelmintic dewormer drug in the early 70s as part of a larger research effort to create safer and more effective benzimidazole drugs. Prior classes of these drugs were extremely toxic and pretty much worthless. So I have the molecular formula there, and some research patents claim fenbendazole is an FTSC inhibitor. FTSC is a highly conserved cell division protein in organisms. It is not found in humans. FTSC inhibitors are generally presumed to be safe. Natural FTSC inhibitors are turmeric and berberine. FTSC inhibitors may be antiviral, antifungal, antiparasitic, antimicrobial, and antitumoral. Do not give fenbendazole to cats. It can produce anemia and possibly other blood disorders. Some species cannot tolerate fenbendazole at all, and that includes like some lizards or something like that. So regarding this statement and the use of AI, I have researched benzimidazoles, the entire history of benzimidazoles, due to the hype regarding fenbendazole and its link to vitamin B12 and other links to B12 from environmental, chronic fatigue syndrome, doctors. So there's a lot of patterns here and things that go together. But regarding AI, when you try to look it up, you cannot find the sources. But the sources of fenbendazole possibly being an FTSC inhibitor and natural FTSC inhibitors came from military research and military patents, which I do have or did have in my possession at one time. So I am quite sure that at one time I produced all of the evidence to put all of this together, which AI cannot do. So I walk back these statements to be a little more generic because I cannot find my original sources. But I know where they came from, and I know I did study the entire history of that class of drugs from the very first one to the latest ones. So some animal-based sources. I personally take salmon oil for, I'm not sure what this symbol is actually. It should be milligrams, but I'm not sure. 4 grams of salmon is 165% of your daily value. So I have a list here of some very high sources of B12. Number 1 is clams, 4,125% of your daily value. Liver, beef liver, chicken liver, sardines, mackerel, tuna, trout, salmon, beef, chicken. After you get down to chicken, eggs, milk, yogurt. Yogurt's actually pretty high. And cheese, Swiss and cheddar, not too bad, but naturally it's going to be found in meat and fish. So that is why I try to get as much B12 as possible from salmon oil supplements. So, okay, everyone, I hope I'll be going through the B vitamins next, and I forgot to add vitamin C, also very important for digestion and carb synthesis, carb digestion, and collagen synthesis, I should say. But yeah, I'm going to go through all the B vitamins first because they are essential and crucial and hard to come by sometimes and in some populations. And the effects can be quite detrimental B12 deficiency, depending upon how severe it is, can actually land you in a wheelchair on its own. So that's one reason why malnutrition is extremely important topic to visit and learn about, because it's often overlooked, especially if someone appears to be obese. You generally don't think of them as being malnourished, but they can be quite malnourished and still be obese. So, okay, everyone, thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you next time, hopefully on time. I'm not sure though, because that weekend is a holiday, so I might not be here. So there might be another delay, but we'll see. Maybe I can get it done and schedule it. Not quite sure. But again, thank you so much for your time. Don't forget to try to increase your vitamins naturally, as it says here that these vitamins are only produced by microorganisms, and you should especially take that home with you, that this is where your nutrition comes from, and it is also your help in synthesizing the food, the vitamins, and extracting the vitamins from the food that you do eat. So thanks again. I will see you next time, and you have a great day and a great week. Bye.